Drishyam. It didn't burn. I killed that guy and then I buried him. Drishyam.
O.J. Simpson wrote a book and I decided that was a good idea. Drishyam.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Redacted No More podcast. We got Chaos King. Yeah, look at him. We got Rook, also known as Fap and Nap.
Naps.
Just naps.
I rebranded.
Yeah, I forgot Naps, not Fap. You like change yourself to more like,
Family friendly
family friendly.
Parents want to let the kids watch fapping naps, but just naps, like
Yeah.
the parents are like, okay, you can go listen to this dude.
Parents and kids take naps. So,
Yeah, and today we are going to do a movie review.
Drishyam.
Drishyam.
Two.
सच लगता
Drishyam
है
2.
क्या हो जाता है Drishyam. Fuck, I don't know the lyrics. But yeah,
Drishyam 2.
Drishyam 2. So
Starring the wonderfully beautiful Taboo.
Taboo.
I don't know anyone else's name, but Taboo
The
is
main
queen.
guy is Ajay Devgan. The new cop that they have introduced is Akshay Khanna. And I don't know.
Half baldy.
Baldy, yeah, him.
There's a child beater or woman beater.
Gatonde. Gatonde. His job is just to beat up everyone, women.
There's
you know what?
deadbeat dad David.
that guy that's an asshole, that guy has the best job. He really gets paid to be an
Beating people
asshole.
up.
To be an asshole to everybody.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to pay for food. He doesn't have to pay for anything. And he can beat all the women that he likes. Like, that's like the perfect job.
And then they had Caesar girl.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's the daughter that she grew up.
Yeah, she's Caesar girl. They had big booty wife.
Yeah.
Obviously, goddess Taboo. Her simp husband. Who else? The guy that works at the store.
The old guy.
Yeah.
Or the guy who sleeps
Yeah,
at the
Mr.
workplace. He's like,
And they have the asshole cop, which is the best character in the whole movie.
Gatonde.
The old cop.
Right, the producer, the film producer,
Yeah, Uncle Phil.
Uncle Phil.
They had the drunk actor.
Yeah.
Oh, right, true.
The drunk and undercover.
Oh,
Yeah,
no. The undercover actors, we forgot about them.
All right, that's true.
They
Oh, yeah,
had,
the drunk friend. Okay. The
they
drunk
had
security guard.
yeah. They had the
Grave digger.
guy who beats his wife, but not really.
Grave digger. They have the grave
I
digger.
think that was all part of the plan to get closer to them, to make them sympathetic towards that family
Yeah.
or towards the neighbor, you know.
Yeah.
Look, you don't actually have to hit me. Let's just pretend.
He was like, this is the good chance. I never got to beat you at home, so I'm gonna beat
We
you.
need to make it real. We need to make it real. You don't know if we've been watching. We should start a little bit from the beginning of the movie, at least where it starts.
So the movie starts with like,
Well,
there are two guys who are fighting with each other.
Three Italian guys. It's David and Tony.
David and Tony.
David and Tony. David Braganza.
David walks up with a bag, and Tony's in his car. And when he sees him, he walks out. to take
He's
whatever's
like,
in
hey, he's like, hey, Tony, I cannot work for you anymore. I have a wife and a kid, and you know it's kind of risky business. My wife is like, if you work with him, I'll divorce you. So I cannot work with you, Tony. And Tony's like, fuck off, bitch. Once you are working with me, that's all
Well,
you do.
he takes the bag and leave and go to the car,
Yeah.
and David chases after him. Like,
And-
wait, I need my money.
Yeah, and he's like, after next
He-
delivery.
He
Well,
pulls
you
out the
know
gun.
what?
Pulls out the gun too.
You know what I thought when I saw that scene? Because David says to Tony, like, I'm out of this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought, dude, if you're gonna upset him like that, at least wait until he pays you,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then tell him, you know, I can't do this anymore or whatever, or don't even tell him that day. Tell him over the phone the next day. You know,
The whole time I was watching it, I was like, Why would you upset him like that?
Exactly.
You pull out the
Before
gun.
you get
still
paid.
yelling. It's like, bro, that's not how you do it.
And dude, if you think about it later on, his wife was like, I don't want you to do criminal stuff because they were implying that they were doing illegal shit, right?
Yeah.
That's why he wanted to quit it. His wife didn't like that. And then when he stopped, guess what happened? They got poor. And he went to jail. So maybe
Well,
he
not
should
they.
remain at that gangster job.
Well, not
They
they
were
got
eating
poor.
better.
She got poor. I don't know.
Yes,
he
he
was,
got poor.
he was doing fine.
Bro, if I was David, I would get it. Oh, so maybe the drug job that I had before wasn't that bad, huh? At least it provided us food, right?
We
What do you
can
think?
we can teach our son how to do basic math. Here, look, he can.
Yeah. But
So,
keep going.
yeah. So he pulls the gun out, and then the guy, he's like, next time you'll get paid next time for the next delivery. And then this genius David's like, okay, grabs the bag out the back door, out the back of the seat. The door wasn't even open. He just reached in, grabbed the bag, and ran. And Tony doesn't even pull out his gun. He chases after him because he's in great shape.
Yeah, Tony's in great shape.
But he didn't know David's one of those guys who looks like he's in bad shape. But
Exactly.
he's an ass kicker. Tony it's a stand-up battle. Tony punches him, knocks him to the ground. He hops on top of him. He's got control over his body. Elbow. But David's just getting hit. Fist.
Bro, Tony knows how to fight. David only knows like how to steal.
Yes. So Tony's like getting tired of beating him up with his fist. And he pulls out the gun. But David goes in defensive mode. Like he was waiting like his whole life for that movement. He grabs the arm, pulls the gun up, pushes the gun away. David keeps hitting him and trying to move the gun towards him. And then you hear police sirens in the background. He's like, "You called the police." And David's like, "It wasn't me."
Where the hell did the police came from, dude? I don't think it was David that brought him there.
They're probably following them.
But so they probably were alerted that somebody stole, and they were fucking shooting, like having gunshots, and police like patrols at night, so they probably heard it. They were like, "Hey, fucking go after them."
And I assume they knew about David just because later on they show up at his house, even though they missed him when he ran away. So.
Yeah, and then he takes his baby son hostage.
Oh, before we get to that, they're still at the gunfight.
Come on, bro. That fight wasn't that epic. Don't hype it up.
It was
because it wasn't that good.
The police are like literally maybe a quarter mile away. They can see them now, and they're still moving the gun around. You see the gun between the middle of their body, and you hear a shot. Both bodies stop moving. And we're like, "Oh, David's dead." No, not like this. And Tony, who's on top, falls over. David gets up. Cops are right there. One car stops like nowhere near him. The other car starts chasing him. David grabs the bag and runs. You see him running. It's a full-on foot chase. Thousands of policemen out of shape show up chasing David through the woods.
Through the woods. Chaos has the bright idea. Chaos has the bright idea to tell him, "Hey, just go up a tree."
Look,
they're right behind them. They could see him if he went up a tree.
Bro, the trees were so close together. There's literally maybe a couple body links between the trees.
He's not Spider-Man. He can barely fucking run.
Exactly.
Haven't you seen he was running and Tony had to open the car door and then run after him. He still fucking got him.
But now he's got adrenaline. He just killed a man. It was in an epic fight. He's got adrenaline. He's running through the woods. He could have just climbed a tree, but whatever. So he gets passed out of the woods. At this point, the police, they're dead tired or passed out or something. Because he starts running down some stairs and he looks back, no one's there. So he's walking through a construction site and he peeks into a building. He hears something. He peeks into a building. He sees a man in a white shirt hitting the dirt. Drishyam. And then he's like, "What the fuck is that?" He walks a little further, and he turns around. He sees someone leaving a building. And he sees
Drishyam.
Vijay. What's his name again?
DJ something.
Vijay
Vijay.
Salgaonkar.
Vijay. I was about to say Vision. I was like, what the fuck? He sees Vijay. A big, muscular man with just a mustache and some epic hair on his face.
Bro, you really know.
With a pickaxe. And then he's like, okay, and he turns around. He goes to his house. He knocks on the door. Wife opens the door. Hey, honey, we got so much food. And he's like, shut the fuck up, bitch. Pack your bags. We're getting out of here. And she's like, but the baby's hungry. Fuck the baby. Don't question me. We're leaving. He has a bag and he's like packing everything. And then you hear the police sirens outside. And she's like, what did you do? And he's like, I'll see you in 7 years. And he walks out. And like Rock said, he should have used the baby as a hostage. It would have been a better fate than what happened.
It's an exploding baby! And then he should have thrown the baby at them and run the other way.
Hey, these cops would have just let the baby hit the ground, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They would have been like, hey, dodge the baby. You threw something.
He got arrested, and that's like the first act. We hear these new characters, and obviously David saw Drishyam at the beginning of, or saw Vijay at the beginning of Drishyam
Now
1.
play the title song.
Burying the body.
Now play the
Drishyam.
Nah, bro, the Insta one. Play the Insta one.
Drishyam. So
Play the Insta
what happened?
one. Come on, do it.
So then it goes back to normal, the modern day times. We're like 2020 or something, 2021.
No, it goes forward 7 years later.
Yeah, well, yeah, modern day.
It's all modern day, stupid. Then he's at the movie theater, but you don't realize this is actually his movie theater.
Well, it was kind of obvious to me.
Oh, come on.
I literally said that was his movie. Come on.
Maybe it's because I saw the first one a long time ago, but I don't remember that he said he was going to open a movie theater in the first one.
Yeah, because
Or
he was working on one, but I don't think he had opened it, right?
I don't remember if that was his ambition in the first one. So I don't know. Okay.
His ambition was keep his stupid wife's mouth shut.
And he's going to fulfill that ambition. This dude can really do every single plan in the universe better than Batman, but he cannot get his wife to shut the fuck up. That's
Like,
the only thing he can do.
He's like, you can literally do whatever you want, but there's only one rule. Shut the fuck up. Like, the kids do a great job. Like, they have no friends. They're homeschooled too.
Yeah.
The daughter starts having seizures and they sleep together now. So, hey, like, they're great. But the wife, she's like, oh, I need friends. You don't trust me. I want to talk to people. And this dude's like, okay, what was the daughter's test again? Please shut up. So, yeah, go ahead.
No, yeah, so the one problem that he did is like he neglected her fragility, her how fragile she was, how emotionally fragile.
He gave her the
wife
D.
was. No, yeah, he did.
The
Good on him, bro. He did it only one time in the movie. I would have done it like at least five times during the whole movie.
Come on, you saw how needy she was.
Yeah, but yeah, what happens next? After
So we're at modern day times. You got the theater, all that stuff. We go back to his family. We see everybody, blah blah blah, and then I think they introduce. It's either the police next, or then we see David get out of jail.
right, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, so David's out of jail 7 years later, back in town. The police, they have a new person in charge. He's like you said, L. He's like L from Death Note.
Playing,
Yeah.
he's just staring at a chessboard and he turns the chessboard around and he's like,
That scene was so stupid.
So they brought back Gaitande, the woman beater, and the police chief, who was there at the time, and they go meet him. And like I said, he's playing chess, and there's no pieces moves. He's just sitting there. He's got one foot up on the couch, just like L. He's drinking tea or eating something sweet. The dude's balding. He doesn't want to let it go, and he keeps turning the table. And then the chief's like, he's playing chess. But Guy Tande's like, but none of the pieces are moving in his mind. And Guy Tande's like, what the fuck? So they meet him, and he's like, do you know who I am? Criminals deserve to be put down. Justice. What was the word for justice again?
Nyai.
Nyai.
No,
His whole attitude is like about defeating your opponent, really. So he's like he's really from right away from the get go. You can tell he's an L character, really. He's really L because he's interested in the mind games aspect of it. You know what I mean? He doesn't really care that much, even if it's like proper justice.
Yeah.
He's just like a bald guy looking for somebody to
Not completely bald. Not completely bald. He's balding.
I mean, he should already be bald at this point. It's like
He's holding on.
No,
He's
the
holding
thing
on.
is that the kind of hair he has, everybody has that. It's just that they look bad, so they just shave it off.
It's a fat guy hairdo. Look,
You know what?
so many fat people have that hair. Skinny people shouldn't have that. It doesn't look good on them.
And the funny thing is that he knows he's bald. He knows he's committed halfway, but he thinks to overcompensate for that. He has to act like an anime character, and it kind of works a little bit. You kind of like see him. You're like, okay, he's bald, but he carries himself pretty well for a guy with that kind of haircut.
Honestly, he should have taken his shirt off. It would have been perfect.
Yeah, I mean, he was when I first saw the character, he had a very pretentious intro, but despite that, I didn't mind. I kind of liked him more the more that I saw him.
He's got background music too.
Yeah.
Like he's got like lights background music. But yeah.
So yeah, after he comes in, the
And then Taboo comes.
girl, yeah, she comes in.
She's a woman.
I'm not really that into her. All right, that's
her simp husband.
Yeah.
Yeah. And earlier, the husband walked up to, what the fuck's his name?
Oh.
The main guy.
Vegeta? BJ? BJ?
Vijay.
Vegeta, that's what I said. Go on, bro.
Bro, not Vegeta. What the fuck?
Shut up. Let him go on. Don't interrupt him.
We've all forgot at this point because I know we all said it wrong. Whatever the fuck beautiful beard man is, he's got a beard.
BJ.
BJ, come on, bro.
Okay, he walked up to BJ and he was
Not BJ.
We just call him BJ.
You just turned him into a restaurant now, BJ.
I swear we all knew his name when we were watching the movie, okay? Look. Well, yeah, he walks up to BJ, and he's like, look, my wife, I come back every year. I need my son's remains. My wife and I are back in town. Or he says, I'm back in town. He hasn't mentioned the wife. And then later on, he tells the wife, yeah, I saw him. And she's like, what'd you see that bitch for? It's like, to ask him where her son was. And she's like, what that little nigga say? And he's like, well, he didn't say shit. And she's like, that's what I thought, pussy. And she went to their little son's funeral, the rapist, or soon-to-be rapist. And she was like, anyone who hurt me, hurt my dead son, just know what I'm about to do to you, I'm doing it on purpose. And then, like, all the people at the funeral are shocked. And they did their little bow thing.
Yeah, then she said namaste. And peaced out of there.
And then you hear, Drishyam. And then it's when she screams.
Yeah.
So yeah, all of them are in a room together, and they're like, "We're gonna take down BJ." And we're getting on to the next part. Like, the goal is to reopen the case that got closed from last time, and find out what happened to the son, or
You know
what happened to the son. And
I'm gonna tell you I'm glad that they introduced that bald guy character because I was getting kind of bored of the movie because it was just showing that their life after 7 years. And they were just going through the motion how he has some co-workers, how he got a theater, and how he was gonna develop a movie. You know what I mean? And then they actually introduced the bald guy, and I'm like, okay, it's interesting again because they're finally gonna get him. You know? Which I knew they wouldn't because he's the main character, dude. He's gonna outsmart everybody. I was counting on that the whole time.
And I guess one thing he may not have counted on, they are renting out a space in their house, and there's a woman and her husband moved in. So the woman is best friends with the wife who can't keep her mouth shut, and the guy beats his wife. Or does he?
This roleplay.
So that morning, I think I don't even know remember, but we're jumping around. But so one morning, whenever we hear people yelling outside, and the wife's looking out the window like, "Honey, go help!" And he's like, "Bitch, I do not care. I'm trying. I just woke up. I want my coffee." And she's like, "Why don't you ever talk to me?" And he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna go outside and help. Fuck this."
Yeah, yeah.
So,
You know, but well, she was just nagging at him. He wanted to say to her, "Those are just two undercover police guys. Like I know this. I know everything. Okay, I know
he's
they're
like,
gonna get you. Like I even know you're gonna fuck up. You know, that's how much I know.
he's like, "Read the book I wrote 6 years
God
ago."
damn, it's
Okay.
all in the books. Yeah.
It's like, girl, they're literally renting out room in our house. Don't you wonder why our electricity bill is so high? We don't have internet in our house. They are the only ones with internet. They got so much electricity going through there. What is all that? All that data leaving. So
They literally got a recording room for us. Like, yeah.
so the couple, they're actually undercover cops, but they don't. No one knows that yet. And pretty much, the wife is and the husband, they're acting like he's abusive. So BJ walks out, and he walks up to the dude, and BJ is like what 6'4", 6'3"? He's a big dude.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
and the guy's like 5. He's like under 6 feet.
Yeah.
And he like puts his pinky to his head, and he's like, "Stop hitting your wife. You're lucky I like the law, or I'd kick your ass." And the guy's like, "Well, I know about what you did, and if you ever come at me again, I'll tell everyone." And he just looks at his wife
Bro,
like, "Bitch."
Vijay is as tall as me.
He looks tall. What do you mean?
The
Why?
other people are shorter. That's why he looks tall.
So you're telling me
Why?
he's 5'4"? He's
5'9".
5'4"? Holy shit! He's 5'4".
Wait, weren't you like 5'7" though?
Bro, I was 5'9" before, and I'm still 5'9", but if you want to keep on reducing...
Yeah, but without shoes on, you're like 5'7".
No, without shoes I'm talking about.
So without shoes, you're like 5'6".
No,
So without-
with
You got
shoes,
the boosters, right?
With shoes,
You got
I am.
boosters in your thing, right?
What?
So without tiptoeing on your feet, you're like 5'7", right?
Without tiptoeing,
Yeah,
I'm
you're like
5'9". Without shoes, I'm 5'9". With shoes, I'm 5'10".
Have you
With
measured
boots,
yourself?
I'm 5'11".
Bro, you sound really insecure right now. You measuring yourself without any shoes. Okay. But he's your height. Alright, bro.
So that
If
means
you say
that,
so.
that dude's like your height, like when you're like your normal height, 5'4", and his wife's are like 3'6". Is his daughter a little person?
God damn. That's true, right?
Because he's the tallest person in the movie.
Holy shit. The tallest guy is like 5'9". Oh my god. Okay.
Literally, and his youngest daughter, I assume she'd be like 5 feet tall, but he towers over her, so she's like maybe 4'2".
Yeah.
His
God
wife,
damn, bro.
his wife's like a foot shorter, so she's probably 5.
No,
And
she's
that-
the perfect height, bro. Like I don't remember liking her as much in the first movie, but in this movie,
Like
she
when
was
we,
definitely like the hottest girl in the whole movie.
like when I saw her on that bridge, like my whole opinion changed on her. I was like, wow,
And you saw that booty, yeah, like okay.
Like, that was an angle. I was like,
to
what?
see the booty. That's all.
yeah. So this is like we're pretty much watching Lord of the Rings, like the Hobbit tales or whatever. So
So this is a damn Tolkien movie, okay?
da-da-da-na-na-na-na. So,
Okay.
so yeah, he stops the guy, and the guy threatens him. So he looks at his wife, and she looks down. She's like, "Oh no, he knows I've been blathering everything to this lady." And they both look sad. So he walks away, and he's like, "Yo, next time he hits you, call the police. Wife, shut the fuck up for once." And he leaves. So all that stuff's happening, and they go back with the police going to try to discover the truth.
Yeah, they're formulating their plan. They're putting all the pieces and setting everything in motion. Yeah. And then they show that the neighbors were actually, undercover
Yeah.
cops.
And then his actual neighbors, like the next house over, they went back to them to talk about the case. And the guy Tande was like, "Hey, motherfucker, I look here, man. Tell us what happened on October 2nd." He's like, "I told you 16 times already. Tell me again. Did you see what happened? Did you see? You were at a party, right? Did you see Vijay?" He's like, "No, I didn't." He's like, "I told you he didn't see anything." And he's like, "Wait a minute. Actually, my wife had like AIDS that day, and I went to the doctor to get medicine. And I saw Vijay pull in his truck at like 4 in the morning." And he's like, "Why didn't you tell us that before?" And he's like, "Well, you didn't ask me if I saw Vijay when I came back home. You asked me if I saw Vijay when I was leaving."
God damn it.
So like 7 years later, they finally got new information.
No, if you look at that whole plan that they had, the police guys, right? They actually had a great plan, which was to basically get the people talking again about the case.
But the problem is, this is 7 years later.
I know,
it's
but
like the most
yeah,
exciting thing to happen. But we didn't even know someone else got murdered that day too. So that was more exciting because they were talking about like you expect people to remember stuff from 7 years ago to that detail, and they don't even have cameras. Like BJ's the only one who had cameras.
it's because low key everybody knew that fucking Vegeta had already killed that kid. You know what I mean?
Everyone except the old guy at the store.
Yeah, everybody knew, and the police guys like used that opportunity to rile up the public again with that story, and they also started going after his wife and his daughters, and they started to attack his weakness, which wasn't him, but it was his family. You know what I mean? That was his real weakness.
Or was it?
Yeah, it was I guess it's the source of his strength, but they're also his weakness. Because without his family, dude, let's be honest. Without his family, his family's holding him back. Honestly, this guy, if he was single, he would have been like a millionaire already. He's a fucking genius. You know what I mean?
He's probably cheated on his wife, and no one will ever know because he's got such a plan. It's like, is there perfume on your shirt? He's like, and he has this whole book written already about it. Like, yes. The perfume is from I was walking by a store and I went in and somebody was trying perfume to smell. And the fan was blowing and it got onto my shirt. At 365, you can check the cameras in there. I was there. But the perfume is actually from 2:30 a.m. this morning. And she'll never know.
Right, so then
But speaking of family, David's family.
Bendito. No, dude.
So when he went
sad to talk about them.
So when he got out of jail, he went back to his family. So they used to have a house. Now they're in like a broom closet or something. Like their
They used
neighbors
to have a dining table.
Not anymore.
like they're neighbors with Harry Potter. Like he has one closet, they have the next one, pretty much. The baby, he's all grown up. He's like he can't read, he can't speak. He knows 2 words because his mom's been homeschooling him because he's too poor to go to a public school. And David walks in, he's like eating biscuits and gravy. Like, oh, what happened? Why didn't the kid go into school? Because we have no money because you went to jail. And David's like, oh, that sucks. And he goes out. And instead of going to look for a job, he just keeps eating food.
he improves his food. Like he was like, fuck this shit, man. I'll eat at that old man's place. I'll pay him and he will have some good food because this lady cannot cook.
Like he's always asking for a job, but he's also always eating.
Yeah, bro. He went to her house and she's like, "Are you eating uncooked rice?" She's like, "No, I'm stupid, and I thought I'm stupid too. And we're poor. I don't know how to cook." And he's like, "Nah, I'm not coming back here. I'm gonna eat lunch
He's like,
cafeteria now every day."
He's like, the food in prison was better than this shit. I'm going out. So yeah, what happened next?
Ash, what happens now?
Eventually, he wants to give
So
information
then,
to the
like,
police.
then he was like, "Hey, you wanna find a job? Look at that guy, Vijay." And then he looks at Vijay and he's like, "Na na 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 na. Oh, I remember this guy."
Or does he? We think
He
he
doesn't
remembers
even
him.
remember him. I don't
We-
think he
we
even
thought we
remembers
did.
him at that point.
Like when he looked, it was like a long look. We all thought he remembered him.
No, the thing was
And
that
'cause he looked at the police
he's
station
like
too.
his face kind of looks familiar. Then he goes outside and he sees the police station and he's like, "Fuck! Now it's coming back to me. Now it's coming back to me. Years ago I was here. 7
But
years ago."
he doesn't remember until VJ walks out the police station later, and then he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, wait a minute, that's why he looks so familiar."
At that point, at this
No, the
point,
thing was
he
that
looks-
he remembered the police station thing. He remembers him, but the information matches when Vijay has to go to the police station, and then he's like, "Okay, now that picture, now that fits." It's like you have seen a fat. If it's like you have seen some guy eat pancakes. Now you have seen the guy, and you're like, he looks familiar. Then you have seen the pancake. You're like, what does it remind me of? Then you see the guy eat pancake again. That's when like, oh, that's what I'd seen. That's how his brain was. Shit.
But yeah, at this point in the movie is when Detective Baldy goes and visits his wife and Mr.
Yeah, VJ's.
Yeah, Mr. He's not home.
Bro, he went in like a guy. He's like, hey, well, people always think that police are visiting houses when there's something, but this is something. It's just a friendly visit.
Can we also talk about that family? The wife, the daughter,
They're
the
dumb
oldest
as
daughter.
fuck. Yeah, they
The
start.
youngest,
They,
the youngest daughter, she's only useful to get usually slapped. That's our only use. But so, like, remember the first time the police show up?
they
I
get
guess
scared.
the question about the neighbors.
Yeah.
She sees the police walking in the backyard, and she like freezes. And she runs
Bro,
inside.
runs. She drops whatever she had in her hand and runs. She's like, "Papa, Papa, Papa."
Like, and the police can clearly see her. They got a clear shot of her. They're like, why the fuck's she running? And she's like shaking like she's seen a ghost. She's like, "It's the pigs outside, Daddy." And he's like, and he's all calm, and he's like, "Go open the door, bitch. Wife, stay calm. Tell me about the test." And the wife's like, "But don't you trust me?"
Shut up.
And
Shut
he's
the
like-
fuck up. Tell me about the test. And then he
And
starts
then
playing
and
his
then when this
video
guy
game.
comes over, she's looking out the window, or she's just walking by a window. Then she looks out, and she just sees old Baldy standing in the yard. He's just standing there. He's not even doing anything. He's just standing looking at where they buried the dead
And they're
dog.
like, that's where their body was buried. Who is he? Why is he there? Is he the ghost of Sam?
And she calls over the mom. She calls over the mom. The mom is worse than her. She starts shaking. They're both shaking. They both got
bro.
like, this in their
They're
pants.
they're acting ridiculously suspicious.
And the
They
youngest
don't act normal.
daughter, the youngest daughter, who's like 3 feet tall, she's like, I'm gonna go make some water for Caesar's sister.
No,
the oldest
D.
sister has Caesar's.
D.
Tea.
And
And
then,
then the guy comes to the door.
Yeah. And the guys inside and they are all shaking. Bro, and he's like talking to her and they are both standing like in different direction. Then the mom rushes towards and comes in front of the daughter acting like she's gonna, like the cop's gonna fucking shoot her or something and she's gonna shoot him. And he's like, like people always think that whenever police comes, like it's something. I just came here.
He's like, how are you doing today? And they're both shaking, like, hello, officer. It's like,
and then the little daughter comes in with the tea, and he's like, "Oh, for me."
and look, Caesar girl could have literally said, "No, I'm suffering from Caesars. I needed to calm down."
Bro,
But they're both
exactly.
pissing their pants.
Yeah.
And he's like, did you put 2 cups? He grabs her cheek where she got slapped by Gaetande, and he's like, he pinches it, and he's like, did you put 2 cups of sugar in there for me? And she's like, yes.
No. He asked like, "Did you put sugar in it?" And she said, "Yes, 2 spoons of sugar."
He's
And
like,
then he's like,
perfect.
nice kid. And then he's like, hey, and then he does like idle conversation and
I gotta take a shit. I'll be back.
I'm about to drop a deuce in your
and
toilet.
then while he's shitting, they are shitting too, and then he comes out. You hear the flush. They're like, "Where the fuck is he? Where the fuck is he?" And then he's in the room, and he's like, "Haha, you guys have a really beautiful, sweet
And
family."
we never heard him the sink used. He flushed the toilet. We never heard the sink.
Bro, maybe
And he was touching
maybe
all
the
their shit.
sound of sink was masked by the flushing.
Nigga. He did not because remember he was there to talk to Vijay.
Okay,
Remember?
let's try it out. I'll
So
flush.
he
I'll
wiped
flush
his
and-
ass. He wiped his ass and started touching everything.
Bro, I'll flush and I'll open the sink. Let's see if you can hear it or not.
He's gonna nut in the toilet, isn't he?
No. What the fuck, man? Do you want me to try?
Go ahead. We're waiting.
Okay, let's experiment. Okay. So, door opened. Can you hear the sink?
Nigga, no.
Bro, it's on. You cannot even fucking hear the sink. What makes you think that you would be able to hear the sink in the movie? Huh?
Because he flushed the toilet and then immediately you heard his footsteps leave the door. See, I heard the
that.
I heard the flush.
I heard that, yeah.
See, the sink is already on. The flush started and it's ended. The sink is still on. Can you hear it? No.
So you're saying he left the sink on?
No, I'm
Bro,
saying that
he got
the
built-
sink, you just weren't able to hear it. Just like now.
Look,
No,
they
bro.
went
to
there
me-
to expose them. He wiped his ass all over all their stuff.
No, I don't think he wiped. I think he went into the bathroom. He took a massive shit. He didn't flush. He didn't wash his hands. Then he opened the sink. And he didn't even wipe his hands. And he just fell out of there, bro.
And the wife and the daughters are so scared. They're shaking. They don't even say anything. They're like,
And then he's using that hand to pick up the family picture and he's like, haha, nice, beautiful, happy family. Haha.
he's like, smells like shit. Throws it on the table. If you ever commit a crime, I'll be back.
I'ma get ya. I'ma get ya.
All right, that's all for me. Bro, you know that his wife, I forgot, I don't know her name actually. The hot girl.
Big booty juicy.
Yeah.
Big
Big booty Judy.
Okay. So
Big booty Judy doesn't know her right. All right? I mean, as an individual, you should know your rights. If a police officer comes and you're shit nervous, even if you're like shit nervous, you should be like, oh, what are you here for? And be
You
like,
don't even. He forced himself in the house. She didn't even
No.
invite him.
It's because she was way too submissive. You know what I mean? She could have just told him, what are you here for? My husband's not here. Bye. And then, yeah, that could have been it.
Yeah.
But no.
And they have a gate around their property, so they just can't be walking onto their property. Like even like the news reporters, people were outside of it.
No. He even asked him, can I come in? No. How about say no? No, my husband's not here, and I don't feel comfortable. You're giving me rapey ballman vibes, and I don't like that. So I don't want you in my house. She could have said any of that. And then, she could have been like, oh, give me a second. My daughter's having a seizure. I can't do this right now. Can you come back another day? You know? She could have pulled off so many excuses, but she's just dumb and fragile. You know? That's how they portray her
and the
family
daughter.
in this movie.
Yeah.
Dumb
Oh.
and fragile.
Well, we saw the first movie. They literally killed the rapist. So they killed the rapist while the youngest daughter was sleeping.
oh, that's true. She doesn't even know. She's like, why am I a part of this family? What
She's
is
like,
my-
I've been beat by cops. I don't even know why.
I didn't do shit. It was my teacher's sister. And I just,
Uh,
I'm very unhappy in
Like-
this family.
They have this pretty big house, and the kids are in the same bed. Like we know it's because the daughter has seizures, so just in case. But still, this girl's like it's 7 years. She's almost 17, 18 probably. She still has to share a room with her older sister. She's probably
Speaking
pissed.
of the teachers, in case he has a teacher, And little sister can be like, okay, another seizure. Mom, Dad, she's doing it again.
What if she just doesn't say anything? She's like, I've had enough of this. I want my own room. Just don't make it. But yeah, so he leaves, and then so the wife's about to like drop the deuce in her pants, and he knocks on the door again. And he's like, I see you have dandelions. They're used to calm people. Tell your husband the dandelions will fall, and you'll need something else to calm him in jail.
What the fuck?
Or Jasmine. Yeah, I don't know.
Bro, he picks up a dandelion and looks back at her and says, I see you have dandelions. They smell like shit. Oh, no, wait, that's me. I didn't wipe. Well, see ya.
Jasmine's, as he said, Jasmine's, not dandelions. But yeah, he's like, they're supposed to be used to calm them. And he's like, well, your husband's going to eat a whole bunch of these because these jasmines are going to fucking die in the dirt and soil, and he's going to be in jail, you fucking murderous bitch. And he leaves. He's like,
It is a reverse. And he rides his car and reverse for the rest of the movie.
Like, literally, they have this long-ass driveway, too, and he's just in reverse. And like,
I think he just rides in reverse. He's a cookie guy, bro. Maybe he just rides in reverse all the time.
And hey, look, the bald head with the hair on the side looks good with the shades. Like, he looked cool in that moment. Yeah. And there's breaks all around. Like, he's not hitting anything, and he's just smiling. And the wife's like, the wife and the kids, they're all holding each other at the doorway, and they're dropping to their knees, crying, and he's just smiling. Yeah. And at this point, we all know, like, the house is bugged. Mm-hmm. And literally the only people in that family talking about the kid getting murdered is the wife. Not even the kids are doing it, because one of them doesn't know, and the other one's fucking having seizures all day. So he leaves, and then the husband, she calls the husband, and or whenever he comes back home, he finds out that he was there. Mm-hmm. So he goes to the police station to tell them, hey, why the fuck they coming to see my family? The case is closed.
That guy came into a house. That guy came into my house and dropped the most giant egg that I've ever seen in my life. We had to get a new toilet. It wouldn't flush. You know what I mean?
My family picture smells like shit. My family picture that I kiss every morning.
Can you please stop harassing us and shitting in our house? And so like, we'll try, bro.
So that's when he leaves the police station, and then you see David, the guy that was in prison. He's like he's at the bus stop, and there's like this old like crackhead behind him, and he sees Drishyam walking out, and he's like, wait a minute, this looks familiar, and he remembers everything. And eventually he hears from the store he always goes to about how they're offering money for information about the murder or anything on Vijay and all the crimes. So eventually he goes to tell them, and he's like, I got information. So they call like the whole crew there, like fucking woman beater, old cop, Taboo, and Baldy. And they're like, I'll only tell you information if you give me 2.5 million rupees. And look, like, wife beater, he's pissed. He's like, I'm gonna slap this shit out of you. And then David's like, I was in prison for 7 years. You can do much worse to me, and I'll take it. It's like, whoa, what happened to him in prison? We need this movie. Because clearly, he was the...
No, bro, we don't need a movie on David because David, he did not make me care for him one bit. Even when I saw his poor family, like, eating dust bunnies. Because I don't think she was eating anything. Right? I think that was just like the food in Peter Pan, where you just imagine it and it's there.
It's fucking Play-Doh. They got those Play-Doh cakes. It's like a Play-Doh, a toy oven.
Yeah. I did not care for David at all. He did not make me care for him as a character or for his family or anything.
Like when he eventually gets the money, we never even see what happens to him. Like we don't even know if his family's okay.
The body, so they let him keep the money, and he's
Yeah, he got away with it, bro.
yeah.
How was his family? Did he even go back to them, or did he
He
leave?
doesn't give a fuck.
He got a new family.
doesn't
He's
give a
like,
fuck.
I'll have a new wife now and a new kid. Fuck
What
them.
if he's still living with them, but he's like, man, I'm still looking for a job. No one's hiring. And then he leaves and he's just going eating all the food.
Yeah, probably. He seems like that type of guy.
So yeah, he told them, yeah, the body is buried right underneath where you're sitting. Everyone's shocked, and Taboo's like, it makes sense why he said we'd never find it.
Yeah, and then it pans out to everybody, and then the bald guy says, "I have to go to the bathroom," and he about to drop another big fat deuce. Yeah, at the police station.
So they call up their like head police people, and they're like, "You got 24 hours. You can dig up everything." So they hire a bunch of workers, and Guy Tande's like working a slave thing. He's like, "You want a potty break? Oh, that's too damn bad. Get to digging, boy."
Bro, that's the moment where I realized this guy just enjoys being an asshole so much. Like he's living his dream, and good for him. You know, he actually achieved his dream of being an asshole all the time.
Bro,
On his
it's like
on his
when your
resume,
school
it
bully
just
gets a
says
cop job.
police asshole.
Professional asshole. Yeah.
Bro, it really is like when your school bully gets a police job. Now he's just continuing the same thing with everyone.
Yep.
So they're digging, and the whole time David can't leave till they find a body. So they're digging, and then on VJ, he's looking at his phone, and he sees the police station's covered. He calls up the guy who works with him, and the guy's like, "Yeah, they said they're digging for something." So he gulps, and he's leaving to get to the car, and his wife's behind him, like, "I heard police station. Tell me." And the husband's like, or VJ's like, "Look, bitch, I listen to my mind, I listen to my heart. And today I'll continue listening to my mind. Shut the fuck up, bitch." And he leaves. That's what he wanted to say, but he just says, "Stay here, crybaby." So he goes to his office. He's got this decked out office, like he's got like a secret cabinet under his desk, we find out. But he's watching the cameras. He's got cameras everywhere. He's watching them. He sees them. He gets in his car. He's driving places. Eventually, they find a body, and you just see Guy Tande on the camera. And he's just like, he's not doing anything. He's just standing there. But they find a body, and it's getting...
No, he's like,
to take
yeah,
DNA
fuck the
test.
body, fuck Vijay, I'll fucking bully the guy, I'll beat his kids and wife up. He's all happy. He's like, yes, the job I wanted.
So once they find the body, that's when they start arresting Vijay and the family. And they go, so Vijay has a one-on-one meeting with the bald cop for the first time. And he's like, "Welcome, Vijay. You are a worthy adversary." And you hear the L music in the background, like do 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 do. And he's like, "Well, I didn't come here to talk to you." And then you see behind they have the two-way mirror wall.
He said that my time is precious. He said that my time is precious. Please don't waste it. Otherwise, I have other ways to get it out. And he's like, "I'll waste your time." And then he's like, "Well, look who's behind the fucking glass." And he's like, "Oh, my family is there." And then he sees Guy Tonde. He's like, "No!"
Well, Taboo and Guy Tonde.
Bro, tell Taboo it was okay. As soon as Guy Tonde walked in, he was like, "Ah, fuck. That's what happened in movie 1 2. He beat the shit out of my family."
So Taboo's asking them questions, and they're like, they literally don't know anything. Because, like, look, Vijay's smart. He knows they're fucking, Caesar girl, she'll have a Caesar.
While
she gets pressure.
While he's banging the glass and saying, "Please stop," inside he's thinking, "Well, that's why I fucking told you to stop telling that shit."
Oh, yeah. And before that, they were all in the room with the police, and they found out that the neighbors were actually police officers, too.
Yeah.
So said that.
Oh, no, this is when they found out. Before they went to the interrogation.
Police uniforms.
And Vijay looked at his wife. He's like, "Bitch."
They didn't even need introduction. And then Tabu was like, "Well, people don't find good neighbors these days."
Yeah. And Vijay just looks at his wife because they're playing a recording of the wife talking to her, saying everything. And Vijay's like, "We got one rule in this family. We don't talk about Fight Club."
Yep.
She broke the only rule. And then she's like crying. The other girl's having a seizure. The youngest daughter's like, "What the fuck are y'all talking about? What body? What's going on?"
Poor youngest daughter. She just gets beaten up without nobody ever explaining why she's getting beaten up. She just gets slapped.
So
Yes, they're pressuring Vegeta by showing his family like getting all beat up. And I gotta say that scene was fun. I didn't try or anything. It was just funny. I mean, he started slapping. He started with the oldest. He was like slap.
He was nice. He was like, "You're not gonna say anything? I got waves with you." He slaps her, and then immediately Vijay's like, "No, my daughter has a medical condition. Please, medical condition." He says that for like 10 minutes.
And he's like, if
Nobody
I have
cares.
no. So the response was, "I have a medical condition too. I cannot tolerate lies." That was his response.
Yeah, and then the guy grabs his wife, Vegeta's wife, and he grabs him by the hand.
He bends her over the thing.
Yeah, he bends her over. I'm like, okay, I'm starting to like where this is going. But then she taps out. She's like, okay, Paul, I'm tapping out, and he doesn't honor that.
Bro.
He's like, okay, I don't give a fuck, bro.
He's like, this is not WWE.
He's like, I'm not a John Cena fan. I don't care about hustle, loyalty, and respect. You don't.
This is no disqualification Iron Man match. Nothing matters here.
He's like, you tap out, and he grabs the youngest daughter. Pretty much, she's the one that gets abused every movie.
Yeah,
he's like, remember me? Big ass slap right across the face.
She started screaming, I don't even like my family. None of this is my fault. Like, poor girl, bro. She's really the only victim in this movie. Is that poor little girl, man.
And then after slapping her, he gives the wife a slap. And then he goes back to the older daughter. He doesn't slap her. I think he slaps her once, but he just starts shaking her and she starts having a seizure.
3 times. He does not slap once. It's like slap and then back slap and then one more slap and she falls down.
Oh, she's having a seizure.
No, that Caesar girl is already gone. He's beating the shit out of her.
No, because because remember, when he goes for her, he never hits her again. She starts having a seizure. And then Vijay's like, okay, I'll tell you the truth. And then he's about to curb stomp her. And then Baldy's like, okay, Gaitande, you can stop. Like, literally, she's on the floor, and he has his foot up to curb stomp the girl. And Taboo's just sitting there the whole time, like, oh, that was easy.
Yeah, and then Detective Baldy goes to take another shit. He comes back, and BJ's in the interrogation room, and he's about to confess everything.
He's like, this is my confession. I wrote it. He's like, just like O.J. Simpson, I came home from a night out. I saw there was a man sneaking into my yard. I grabbed the nearest thing, where it was like a metal rod or something. Hit him over. I went to hit him in the back, but he slumped over. Accidentally hit him in the back of the head, and I was scared. So I buried his body. And the whole time, the people behind the mirror, they're like, well, this nigga lying. And Taboo's like, don't let his family get away with it. I want them tortured. And the husband's like, bitch, you crazy. Like, he confessed. His life's ruined.
Yeah.
Let's get on with it. And she's like,
The husband looked at her like, what the fuck? Like, who have you become? And, like, yeah, she said full villain at this point. A full anime villain at this point, honestly.
And then the Baldy guy is like, well, they never compromise. That's what they got. We should not compromise as well. That's justice.
Yep. So they're gonna do whatever, and he goes to court, and they're all having a meeting, and then like the police people are having a meeting, and then
they were director like, this time
for
we
his
got
movie,
him by the balls, and then the Taboo is like, well, don't underestimate him, and he's like, well, he's done, and then suddenly they're like, somebody came to talk to you.
It's like, and it's the Steven Spielberg of India, who hasn't written a script since his wife died. But then, 6 years ago, or 5 years ago, Vijay showed up at his doorstep with an excellent story that he wanted to make into a movie. And they're sitting there listening to this like, wait a minute. his whole life story. Yeah, and the ending, he went to jail, but we didn't like that ending, so we changed it. And I got all this research done by all my cop friends. And I found out exactly what all you would do if the body was ever found, and we wrote a book about it and published
Yeah, bro.
it in my name
This is how smart
4 years
DJ
ago.
Yeah, bro, this is how smart DJ is. He's like, okay, this is the script for Drishyam 2. I don't like how it ends because it ends with me going in jail. So I'm just gonna rewrite this whole thing, and we're gonna go with that. And they're like, okay.
And
So
they're
what
cutting
happens? He gets away with it.
and they're cutting back and forth between the court case where his lawyer is saying all the stuff they're saying is from this
the
book written by this random guy 4 years ago.
He literally rewrote the
Word for
script.
word.
He literally rewrote the script as it was happening in the movie. This guy, you cannot put this guy in jail. He's a fucking
Yeah.
genius.
And they said that they forced a confession out of him.
Yeah.
They did, which they did. They
Yeah.
actually tortured. Yeah.
So they're doing all this, and then like there's a part where she's like, "Look, this shit is bullshit," and then the judge gets a note, and he's like, "Wait a minute,
What the fuck is happening on?
the body is not even the kid. What
Yeah.
the fuck? This is some random dude. Whose body is this?" And then all the cops find out, and he's like, "Yo, bring your boss to me," and the people in the room, the police officers with the director, all find out, and they're like, "Oh shit."
And then
And then-
they show like a whole Vijay plan, like he fucking snoozed
Yeah.
with the grave guy, found the body of the kid. That
So
was,
do we mention the graveyard guy? So he had a friend at a graveyard who he
Oh,
had
I
been
did.
giving money to for like a while. Turns out he
No.
befriended him.
Not just
So
money,
that he
like
could-
he paid for his daughter's education, his daughter's marriage, and even gave like a wedding gift as well.
Yeah, where'd he get all this money from? First of all,
Oh, he sold his land.
he still has so much land. What the fuck?
Yeah, he has a movie today, and it was going pretty good too. So
Yeah,
he was making money.
he paid for out of pocket too.
Yeah.
So yeah, he all that
I
he
mean,
befriended the graveyard guy
his,
so he could get a body that was the exact same age as the rapist
And
and with the same type of wound.
Yeah.
And then he befriended the security guard at the like DNA place, DNA testing place.
So like a hospital place. So at the
Yeah.
hospital, the forensic team like sends that thing for.
Yeah. And the guy's an
Conveniently, the guy
Yeah.
says as the security guy, "Oh, there's no cameras here." Very conveniently.
He's like saying
And-
like, hey, come in. You don't have.
yeah,
to
so they
worry
could
about
get
it."
drunk and stuff.
Yeah.
Nobody's keeping an eye on this place, even though this is a place where crucial evidence goes to.
No, the
But there's
thing
not
is
even
that
cameras
thing-
around here, bro.
that
Don't
thing
worry
is
about
kept
it.
out.
And he
Like,
gives the guy a role
Yeah.
in his movie.
Yeah, like
So he's
nobody
an
knows
actor.
about it. The only reason they find out because the producer guy, he had some connection in the cops, so they told him.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
nobody knew like what kind of process happens, where all this stuff goes. The funny part is like they could have named any other hospital. They just said like exactly where the hell everything goes.
Yo, what if his friend was Guy Tonde? Yo,
Tonde
Guy
was-
Tonde, I need some information. If you ever find a body,
Yeah,
where does
and-
forensics take it to?
And Gaitonde was suspended, so Gaitonde kept supplying everything. He's like, fuck them. They suspended me, fuck them. Who cares?
Yeah, so basically, his lawyer, BJ's lawyer, is like, his sole confession is inadmissible because he was forced to do it, and it's a fictional narrative too because it's the one from his
Word
book.
for
So-
word, word for
so
word.
Case closed, so don't harass his family
And
anymore, and
I think
case closed.
the best part about this was at that point we're like, yo, OJ Simpson, he did a good thing.
Yeah.
It's like
No, bro, that whole ending was sketchy. I'm gonna be honest because the whole ending they kind of wanted to wrap everything up with a nice bow, and like I said, the lawyer is just like, okay, so this is all fictional. This is case is
Oh.
closed, and then the judge goes like, okay,
No, the body
cool.
was not.
well, the body not being his
Yeah.
made it like
made it
like, they-
absolutely useless because their whole argument for Vijay being guilty was that the body was found in the same place where one of the witnesses said that they saw Vijay dug up.
yeah. And the fact that he has no connection to the book about outside the
Yeah.
writer's name because he paid in cash, so there's no actual
and the thing was that at that
footprint
time
to
they
it.
didn't know the like when this thing was happening at the same time the cops Tabu were sitting with the director, the producer guy, and he was telling them. So
Yeah.
it was like they found out about that then only. They were like, oh, the book is in my name. Oh, yeah.
This is my confession, Mr. Poland Court.
Wait, that producer guy could have been a witness in a future trial because he's
But
not gonna
No,
he
be.
but
never,
the thing was
he
that
never saw anything. It was all a story. Remember,
no,
he came to him for a story.
the thing
That's
was
the
that
thing.
they presented like when the case was ended, the Vijay's lawyer said that
Yeah.
we are going to put this like request to the higher court. So this was the court there, and Supreme Court is like in Delhi. So they are like, we're going to move to that court, and we would request them that this case would never be brought to life again. It should be dismissed forever.
So when Vijay walks out the courtroom, he has his lawyer. She's looking good. They're both like walking cocky and confident.
You
And
were
then you see-
simping. You were simping for every girl that appeared on screen. There
No,
was like an
they had
extra in the background, and you were like, "Who's her?
the
Who's her?"
the police woman, she was beautiful. Behind the shoulders, yeah, she
I,
was
don't,
beautiful.
I didn't even look at her.
Bro,
I saw her.
he
She was the
even
first
stopped the
person I saw.
He's like, who's the person with the red mic? And I did not
Yeah.
even look at the
He saw
girl.
some guy. I was like, what guy? I didn't even know there was a guy.
No, the thing was
You're
that
like-
the girl was like in such a position where nobody would like her
I
face
saw
was
her.
not even clear. Her face was
Look.
not even clear. So I'm like,
I always saw her.
bro,
Okay.
She was the only one I saw.
bro,
Yeah, so he walks. So he walks out of the court.
And then there's Baldy.
Yeah, Baldy's someone in the court.
And he's
And
trying to
then
make he's trying to make eye contact. And Vijay's not even looking at him. He's like looking off at the birds and the clouds, like fresh air smells good. Like it's checkmate at that point. Like dude's playing chess in his mind. Vijay's playing 3D chess in his, not even in his mind, in his dreams.
Yeah.
You don't think about it, bro. Effortless.
Yeah, and then the police body, that everybody goes into the room, and the stupid submissive judge that just gives up on everything, he's like, oh, and then body goes, he beat me. I meet defeat later.
He's like, no. He's like, I need 6 hairs. This is all I got left, man.
He really knows what happened, and he can prove it, and that he can actually prove it. But he's like, no, you know what?
No,
you won this one.
to be
I'll
honest,
tell you
Probably,
later.
do you-
but you can't really prove it because
Yeah.
it's a story.
Oh, no, they can prove it.
And
They
the
can
thing
totally
was
prove
that
it.
No, they really can't.
in the producer story, it was never mentioned that who he befriended. So like, in
Yeah.
order to prove that point, they would have to find like, hey, who was the grave digger? Who was the fucking guy that he befriended in the fucking
Right, bro. And they could do all that.
No, but but the body's destroyed. Besides
Yeah.
the parts that he.
in
left.
order to open a case, they would have to have a body or something that they
Yeah.
can use in order to like some kind of solid proof. So when a case gets closed, in order to reopen it, you need like some solid evidence in order to reopen it. Otherwise, you can
Yeah, and they had that evidence. They just came up
that's
with
not
it.
evidence. That's
No,
hearsay.
there's no evidence, man.
Yeah, that's hearsay.
Of course there is.
That's in the term of law is called hearsay. Like you are just hearing some words that has no backing. Like if there was actual
Even when they showed actual like footage of the movie or the book or whatever,
yeah.
it's some old ass man with some like literally old man.
And the
Not
thing
even-
was that they completely changed it. It was a dude.
Yeah.
It was
it was
everything.
a guy. that-
So you can say, but like there is similarity, but you would have to prove.
Bro.
The problem
literally-
is,
Bro,
all everything he said wasn't the same, but everything the police said matched what he wrote.
Yeah.
There is proof. They could just use this book.
What is the proof? That's what I'm asking. You just keep saying proof is.
His wife literally confessed.
His proof is in the fucking book and all the evidence that they gather against him.
The book isn't. See, the problem is the book isn't evidence. It's only a script the police
Yeah,
use.
they no.
And even the lawyer said the only people who had a problem with BJ were the people that were in the police, and they're the
My
only ones who
dude,
had access to
again, it's because for convenience of the plot that the court just accepted that. But you could totally challenge that notion.
The main reason it was thrown out is because the body wasn't the son's.
Yeah,
And
that,
they complained.
I understand that. But
there
you can
wasn't a
still,
lot of proof.
but you can still say, how did they actually find a real body there?
They never
Even if it
found.
wasn't.
no,
They
look,
did.
Rook,
There's-
you missed this point. So the whole argument was then when in order to do the digging, they completely covered the whole place so nobody could see what was happening inside. So the lawyer presented the argument that the body was moved by the cops, by the cops just in order to frame Vijay because the mother was here and
My bad.
she wanted to get revenge on Vijay. So this whole thing was planned by the cops. You
I
understand?
know
Bro,
exactly.
the
What I'm trying to
only
say,
way they could have proof is if they found Vijay with the body. He said he had the weapon. And
I know what happened. The thing is, like I'm saying,
There is no proof.
the other lawyer could have challenged that notion. The court just accepted it, and they just skipped past it.
He literally said this was the first he's hearing about the DNA test. So he stumped. Everything he at that point was thrown out the window.
Yeah.
Because everyone
For
assumed
convenience of the plot, dude.
Bro, how would they just? That was the first anyone got of the DNA test. Everyone just got
Okay,
it.
you know I'm not gonna keep arguing this. You guys don't get it. Okay,
Bro,
that's how the movie
I
ends,
don't think
right?
you get no.
No, I
It's
don't
not
think you
over.
get it. What happens next?
So he walks past Baldy, and then he walks out, and you see Taboo, the simp husband, and the traitor director. And Vijay's like, with the director, he's like, the hero could never look the family in the eyes. Like he looks and sees the director, but he can never look at them. He walks with his pretty fine lawyer, and then you see him digging up, putting some bones into a thing, whatever's left of the body, and he puts it into an urn. And when the simp husband goes out to his car the next morning, he sees the bones, and he's like, "I have what you need." It's just a note that probably has fingerprints everywhere. He should have just printed something, but whatever. It says, "I have what you need." So they do their little ritual, and he looks at Taboo and he's like, "We're finally done. We can go back to London." And she's crying. She's like, I want to kill his family. I want them tortured. I want Guy Tade to slap them." But she's crying, and he hugs him, and that's the end of them. And then it shows them at the bridge, and you get this fantastic view from the back of the car of Vijay's wife. And let me tell you, I did not know she had that. Like, wow. I can see.
So come on, it wasn't that big or that thick. It was just.
So
very nice.
you gotta see it again. Like, it was surprisingly big. Like, it's hidden underneath. She wears loose outfits. It's loose. It's not tight, so you can't really tell. But she never wears jeans. Like, it's hidden. And then they're like, "Okay, who's gonna drive?" And they all drive off happily ever after.
And then at the end he has a monologue where he says, "Nobody fucks with my family, bro. Like they're dumb. They can't keep their mouth shut. But I still love them. Even my sister daughter, I still love her even though she's a pain in the ass. And the other one that I don't know her name, she's getting beat up. I love this family. Yeah."
And his 5'2" ass and his 3 foot tall short daughter who gets beaten, his maybe like 4 or 5 daughter with seizures, and the wife who can't shut the fuck up. Live happily. Hey, shut the fuck up. Ever after.
Bro, there's a church guy right now starting a sermon. This is gonna be really annoying.
Yeah, they live happily ever after, and that's the end of the movie.
Yo, bro.
Would I say it's as good as the first one? No. The first one was way better. But I got behind Vijay. His family sucks.
Hallelujah!
Yo, close the window, bro.
Bro, even if I close the windows, you're still gonna hear it. We're kind of fucking doomed by now.
Hallelujah.
Okay, let's wrap this up. Okay, I'd say the first one was better, but this was still pretty good.
Yeah, this was still.
It was entertaining. So I'd give it I'd give it like a 6.8. I wouldn't go as high as a 7, but like a 6.8. I enjoyed it. It could have been better, like you said. Like some things, there wasn't a lot of like once they lost, they kind of gave up. But I enjoyed it. I give it a 6.8.
What about you, Ash?
I'll give it 6.5 out of 10. It was good, nice. I enjoyed it. And the
Yeah.
thing was that normally, like, what happens is, like, I did not think that they would be able to write a plot. Like, what were they gonna do? Because everything was already done in the first part, but they still brought up a pretty interesting story out of the second part. So it was kind of nice, and the way they did it, it was not like completely like red. A lot of times what happens is like they would have some stuff that happens that like does not fit in the piece, like it overrides some of the plot that happened previously, or it would be like some nonsensical twist or something. But here it was kind of done nicely, so I liked it.
Uh, Here's what I have to say. I think when they came up with this movie, there was a bunch of Indian guys playing Clue, the board game playing Clue, and then one of them said, "This gives me an idea for a movie," and then the other guy said, "Yeah, let's mix it with the Death Note anime," and then the other guy said, "Yeah, but let's make the guy smarter than Batman," and then you go
And the other guy said, Drishyam.
then the fourth guy said Drishyam, and then the fifth guy says, "I want to see some slapping of women," and they combine all that together, and they make this film, which is a 6 out of 10 for me, honestly.
With the Hobbit. With the Hobbit.
Yeah, you gotta make them short too. It's a 6 out of 10 for me. I think I enjoyed the first one more because I didn't know exactly what kind of movie it was gonna be. With this one, I know what kind of movie it's gonna be, and I thought the end was a little bit flimsy. And there's some like a middle part that's a little bit boring when they're showing his life after 7 years. All that part is like okay. I mean, I get it's important for the movie, but it was a little bit boring until it got interesting with the ball guy. Yeah, a 6 out of 10. I probably wouldn't watch it again, honestly. So